I cannot pronounce that, but I'm pretty sure it's Russian. So this was a specific type of attack that hit IT solution providers that were providing IT solutions for companies that provided cancer care. Cancer agencies slowed down because eHealth, when we've locked the devices down, people can't get their care. This was actually the last one, ransomware and data breaches linked to uptick in fatal heart attacks. This came from research from University of Vanderbilt. Those guys are pretty smart. What they were able to do is determine that because of outages, not at Vanderbilt specifically, but across the United States, there were deaths that were attributed to that. And I'm not saying like COVID deaths and they're like, well, maybe you had it, maybe you didn't. They were able to directly attribute cyber attacks and ransomware to people having fatal heart attacks because of care, because of not being able to get the routine care. This one was sad. A ransomware attack forces Arkansas company to fire 300 employees days before Christmas. The problem with this was that in the November timeframe is when this company was hit. And they thought that they could recover. They said, well, we're not going to pay the ransom. We're just going to restore everything. They had big parties. They were making a lot of money. They gave bonuses. And then they had to lay off a bunch of people because the company went under. They didn't pay the ransom. They tried to restore from backups and the data was just flawed. They were making bad decisions based on information that wasn't, valid anymore. The Russian ransomware hits TravelX. So they wanted $3 million. So TravelX is actually, I'm going to talk about it in a minute. It is an exchange platform, currency exchange. This happened and it was timed so perfectly. It was right around Christmas of last year. And so they timed it to where it was like Christmas Eve and then Christmas Day. People could not get their money. People get really mad when they can get their money. I've got some more details on that in a minute. This one hits really close to home. City of Knoxville, as I mentioned. The city, not the county. So Knoxville's interesting. We have a county government, we have a city government. City of Knoxville is a victim of ransomware. Pay very close attention. So ransomware attack, cyber criminals locked down the victims' files and demand, we get that. Portions of the city's website were offline Thursday afternoon. Those city officials said their internal assessment shows no financial or personal information had been accessed or compromised. 2 days later, Knoxville, Tennessee, data published online after ransomware attack. They chose not to pay the ransom. The attacker said, all right, fine, let's go ahead and publish all of the salary information for every employee. And we also have a lot of other sensitive information. Their initial assessment was wrong. They took the data. Pretty picture. So, yep, even here in Knoxville, it was impacted. And me as a Knoxville citizen, if you think about it, city of Atlanta and New Orleans and Baltimore, if you think about what happens from a municipality perspective, only certain types of traffic accidents were being addressed. Only certain type of fire, it had to be a high severity item. Normal business operations shut down for about 2 or 3 weeks. People had problems paying their property taxes, which is not a problem until you're fined for it. People, when people wanted to get, titles for their homes and driver's license, the government essentially was limping for 3 weeks. I don't know what ended up happening. They're back up and going now. But when you see the impact and when municipalities can't do business, that's a huge deal.